Free Vegas.
Bien.
Right to back.
Nos divertimos. I won a little bit,
Okay.
pero lo gastó Angie. Chingas, es que
What are you participating?
me gustan los dados y el roulette.
Okay. I used to play the guys, but
Y que la varían y no la varían. Y...
don't so kind of
Right. Muy bien.
no name all you
Okay. They're number 15 on the agenda.
Yeah,
Regular
no,
meeting.
we're going to move. Yeah.
because I've been trying to get you a trip. Yo y la madame chingate. Me asusta.
Ahora con Allegiance se va a hacer tan fácil. Antes.
Pues sí, pero
Morning, sir.
ya los precios están igual o peor que los otros. It's a good deal todavía.
A ver, empezaremos esta cosa.
Did you go?
No,
No, but change the plans with my parents.
Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to our Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, August 7, 2012. Present are Commissioners Quintanilla, Precinct 1, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 2, and myself. We have a quorum. Before we begin, I wanted to take time to introduce our newest member to our Civil Service Commission that we just swore in this morning. This young lady is from McAllen, Ms. Mickey Ravinovich. One of our citizen volunteers to preside over the Civil Service Commission, which hears our grievances, all grievances from all our county employees, and we've got a little over 3,000 employees. So it's an important position. It affects the lives of many families, and we're very pleased that she agreed to volunteer to serve in that capacity. Thank you, Ms. Rabinovich. All right, Mr. Garza, we have a open forum. Anyone here? All right, approval of our consent agenda. Any concerns?
We have our check register, so.
Move to approve.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, item 4.
Item 4, presentation of scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors in connection with title commitments for Edinburgh Wastewater Treatment Plant effluent line easement. The firms that were on our pool was Edwards Abstract Title Company and Valley Land Title. And the scorings are as 99 for Edwards Abstract and 97 for Valley Land Title. These are about 3 easements that we're going to be acquiring in support of the Edinburgh system, and they're going to be reimbursing the district through local.
So moved.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, pursuant to the board's approval requesting authority for Hidalgo County Drainage System Number 1 to issue purchase orders to the number 1 ranked firm of Edwards Abstract and Title Company for title commitments as it relates
Move to
to the Edinburgh
approve,
wastewater treatment plant effluent line easement.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 5.
Item 5, presentation discussion by the Drainage District Advisory Board as it relates to projects on the proposed upcoming bond referendum. Judge, Commissioners, based on a meeting that we had as the advisory board last week, the letter was submitted to the judge's office and disseminated to the Commissioners Court, where members of the advisory board would like to come and present their proposal on recommendations for the board's consideration on the upcoming bond referendum. At this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Dr. Guajardo, which is the co-chair of the committee.
Dr. Frank Guajardo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge, and good morning to the court.
Before you begin, let me make sure that we at least make the individuals that are here aware as to what we're doing. We're trying to address the drainage problem that exists in our county. We're trying to avoid a flood in the event of a hurricane. We're trying to protect about $38 billion worth of property that we presently have valued and existing here in Hidalgo County, and a population of a little over 900,000. It's our position. And we have created and formed a citizen advisory committee, and we're about to hear from them. They're going to make a presentation as to what they believe we should do. Frank?
Judge, thank you very much for the framing and a little bit of context. And I don't think this is the first time that context is attempted to be given on this, because as you know, Judge, and everybody else knows as well, that the drainage issue in this part of the world is a matter of extreme urgency. We cannot sustain anything close to a level 5 hurricane, a level 4. You remember Beulah back in 1967. We weren't able to withstand that very well, and we weren't quite as populated or developed. Our infrastructure hasn't really come a long way since. I mean, we've made a lot of inroads, but we're not ready to be able to sustain and withstand something as dramatic as a big hurricane. So the court, as you said, Judge, did appoint a committee, the Hidalgo County Drainage Advisory Committee. And I and Jim Darling chair the committee, share the chair responsibilities on the committee. And so we have a recommendation, which is what we were charged to do, to deliberate, and we've been deliberating during the past year. And we have a recommendation, and I think that Mr. Garza, Godfrey Garza, has been given reports periodically to this court. But we have a recommendation that is a little more sweeping, I think, and much more pertinent to the political issues at hand that are coming up here in the next few months. There is a letter that has been given to you that both Mr. Darling and I have signed, and so you can read that letter at your own leisure, but I would like to point out a few things from that letter that I think is very important that the public know. Number one, that the committee recommends that the bond referendum that will be placed in the November election include the Hidalgo County drainage projects that were presented to the Drainage Advisory Committee on May 23rd, 2012 by the Drainage District with a total amount of $168,902,080. A couple of other things that are especially important to the Drainage Advisory Committee. One is that the percentage for rural and colonia drainage projects would be designated, a designated amount of $10 million. The committee also recommends that we look very, very carefully, that special consideration be given, that additional monies from the bond issuance look at the reclamation program in the Delta area. As many of us know, many of us who especially have lived in the Delta area, and I grew up in the Edcouch-Tulsa area, the Edcouch-Tulsa being the heart of the Delta area, of course, we know that in many ways history has not been kind to us, especially in terms of development projects. There is a reclamation program that's in the design in the La Villa area, which we think really impacts the entire county. Not just La Villa, but the entire county, and so we would like this court to look very carefully at that. There is one last issue that will certainly cause a little bit of controversy, I'm sure, and we may even hear from people who may be coming before you soon. But that is that if the $20 million that is supposed to come back to the county, I'm sorry, that if the $110 million for the funding of the Ravenville project, we ask your consideration that you look very carefully from the federal government reimbursement, the $20 million recovered from those funds be dedicated to rural colonia drainage projects. So I would like to step back a little bit, Judge, and give you a little bit of the framing here specific to the Drainage Advisory Committee and the thought process. I can tell you that at least from those who speak at those meetings, at least those who speak, that there is absolute unanimity about what I'm about to say here in terms of a value system of this Drainage Advisory Committee. The Drainage Advisory Committee believes that while some of you adults fight with each other on occasion, you know, when you're running for office of this or that or whatever, you fight against each other, we know that. When it comes to the issue of children, we adults tend to all be on the same page. You know, when it comes to the issue of children in schools, we're all about what can we do to ensure children's safety, a good education for children, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, our committee believes this, that the investment that goes into the drainage project have a particular focus on the most vulnerable amongst us. We know that in relative terms, the most vulnerable amongst us are the children who live in colonias and in some of the more marginalized areas. So we want to express to you that our entire value system, again, at least in the conversations that we've had in the Drainage Advisory Committee, has consistently followed that kind of belief. We need to do what's right for our children, and we need to do what's right for the most vulnerable amongst us. Noble leadership follows that kind of dictate. And so we hope that this court follows the same. I am merely reporting from the people that you have appointed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Fajardo. Godfrey, do you have a list of those projects? I know that you, in the past, have given it to us. We don't
Yes, sir,
have
I
it today.
do. I do not have one with me, Judge, but it basically is what is on record that was presided to the board.
Jaime, do you have that list for the Drainage Committee presentation?
We don't have it with us, Judge.
All right.
But it does delineate, as the co-chair said, the Rainville Drain. It's about 26 different projects on there. Many of the projects are pump systems along the levee system itself, then the Raymondville Drain, then making improvements and connections to the drainage system. It has $10 million associated for recapturing on improvements that the county has done for the drainage district. It has $10 million associated with rural drainage improvements in the system. So it's pretty well spread out on the numerous projects that are there.
And what we're going to be asked to vote on is that list of those projects.
The list of those projects with 2 additional items addressed as by the chair and the co-chair.
Thank you.
One is to delineate X dollars to assist in the reclamation project in the Delta area. This board had looked favorably when we mentioned it to y'all last time. We'll be coming back to the board probably anywhere between $5 and $10 million associated with the Delta project. The other item that was brought before the board and clarified today was the possibility of this board considering at the time that the money is recovered on the Raymondville Drain, that potentially $20 million be set aside to go straight into the rural development 5 years from now or 10 years from now, whenever that money does come back and the Raymondville Drain project is completed.
All right, so the presentation provides for 24 different projects. And plus now we're being asked to consider the reclamation project in
Yes,
the
sir.
Delta area and the possibility of using 20 million out of the 100 million if we ever get it back for use in the colonia, in certain colonias for drainage issues.
Yes, sir. Basically, it's $168 million total. You will have an add-on of whatever the board presents for the watershed. If it's $5 or $10 million, that will be the total dollar. There will not be any additional dollars. Where the advisory committee is coming to the board is when and if we recover those monies from the federal side 8 years from now, or whenever it's built, that part of those monies, $20 million, which is what they're recommending, be utilized for rural drainage improvements when in the future the board recovers that money.
All right,
Mr.
well,
Garza.
go ahead,
Yes, sir.
sir.
On the list that you provided with us to previous meetings, the reclamation project was already part of that.
It
And
was
we
not
were-
lit.
No.
We
I'm
had,
sorry.
we had a line item for about $10 million on that project.
We
no?
did not have a listed item on there. What those 2 additional projects were going to be recommendations to the board to give y'all the ability, if y'all were in support of it or not in support of it, Commissioner. But in the last board meeting, it was unanimous, from what I remember of the board, to move forward with the Delta area. The issue was how much money would be allocated to the Delta area, sir.
And we do have $14.1 million through disaster recovery funds that are coming to Precinct 1 that are going to go right through that project that we have programmed. Is that being considered?
Yes, sir,
And-
that's basically going to be the spine of the development of this
Right.
project. From there, the reclamation project would expand in developing a large retention or detention facility. As y'all are aware, and the public is aware, a lot of the flooding takes place on the eastern side, especially when we have a major event that we have to close what we call the Panchita structure. So it just starts ponding back there. During
Right.
Beulah, that area had about 18 to 20 feet of water stacked up against the canal.
And out of those funds, we do have a program to fix the drainage problems in 14 colonias, possibly 18. Is that also being considered?
That is being considered, sir. That is directly coming from the General Land Office project that's
Right.
developed over in your area.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And how much money are we being asked to authorize the expenditure of, in addition to that 14.1?
We're not.
For the
we're-
reclamation project
Oh,
in La
on
Villa?
top of that, my recommendation would be for the board to consider anywhere between $5 and $10 million for the reclamation project, which will facilitate the land acquisition and the construction of the large detention facility tied in with the east lateral.
What will that do to your figure of 2.8 or 2 the additional tax rate increase?
Judge, I'd have First Southwest run it, but you're looking at, what would that be, maybe 5% additional to the $68 million? Or maybe 8%, so you might be looking from .2222 to maybe .232, or something like that. It would be up to the financial people to run those numbers.
I can definitely say, Commissioners, that as far as my precinct is concerned, I can't speak for the others, we do have some huge, massive drainage problems that have existed for many, many years. I think we're on the right track to fixing these problems and working together. I'm sure we can find, through a unified effort, we can find solutions. This is one of the reasons that we went through the disaster recovery program and dedicate those $14.1 million in that area. Of course, complementing the actual reclamation project itself is something that we are definitely supporting. So we're on the right track as far as that's concerned with the Delta area.
Well, the Delta area is very appropriately named because it's a low-lying area, and water, being what it is, will seek the low-lying areas, and the water that falls on the western part of the county makes its way to the eastern part of the county before we're trying to get it all the way to the bay. And what this project is going to do, as I understand it, is going to allow us an opportunity to store the water for situations when water will become very, very valuable to us as human beings sometime in the future, and the value of that water is going to be tremendously increased. And we're trying to create this lake to store that water that later on the county can rely on and be able to use for, well, for whatever purpose it deems necessary.
And we're actually going to reclaim approximately about 55% of the water that we're losing at the present time, correct, Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir. Basically, we also have a project that was approved by the Texas Water Development Board several years back, where it shows the feasibility existing on the recapture and the reuse of water. To what extent?
What impact is this project that they're talking about impact on the one that the drainage district is looking at?
Two things on it, Commissioner. One, by moving forward with the Delta area, it will provide a client, which is what's required in order to develop, because the drainage district is not a potable water entity. It's basically a drainage control system. We have the ability for storage of water, but in order to go to the next step, you need to have a client with a CCN to be able to utilize that. So the Delta area, Edcouch, El Sur, La Villa, could assist in being that particular client to move forward, just like any other one, La Jolla, McAllen, whoever wishes to, and move forward. What the project is going to do is going to give us the ability to recapture more water than what we were originally intending, which was utilizing just our existing system as a reservoir for it.
And at one point or another, we're looking at trying to generate revenues in the many, many years from now. You know, Hidalgo County may become a water producer, potable water producer, because of this project as well.
And our intention is, from day one when we started looking at that, to make it a revenue system for the district,
right,
which would allow us to move forward with additional bonds without having to increase the ad valorem tax to deliver the projects that we need.
That's correct.
All right, this time I'm going to address a procedural issue. recess the Drainage District meeting and convene a regular Hidalgo County Commissioners Court meeting for today, August 7, 2012. Present are Commissioners Quintanilla, Palacios, Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. And before we do anything else, I'm going to recess our regular meeting and come back to our convene our Drainage District Board of Directors meeting. All right, you can go ahead.
What if Ms. Townsend?
Ms. Townsend, you wanted to address us on his issue?
On the drainage.
Yes, we're back in drainage.
Oh, you're back.
Our lawyer made sure that I recessed and convened the other one and came right back.
Okay. Well, I am a member of that Drainage District Committee, and I have been to almost all the meetings, and I found it very, very interesting, especially studying the projects that we're going to do, because they're all viable and needed very much. When we got to the end and had the request for the extra $20 million, who in the world is going to go against colonias? Or who in the world is going to go against children? Nobody. However, I'm a very practical person about taxes. And I know it's going to cost us more taxes. And I don't want anybody thinking we're going to get it somewhere without having to ask the taxpayers, because that's not going to happen. We're going to
That's
need
what we
extra
do.
taxes to do this extra work. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but I like responsibility back where it belongs. And I want this county to stop letting developers develop in low areas where they get taken, people like this get taken advantage of. I don't want that. And I've said it for a long, long time, and I asked you all to make the room this year when the legislature convenes, that you all go up and fight for better rules. I mean, please. This is what happens. We have to pick up the pieces.
Number 5.
So please do something on the plus side instead of having to do it afterwards. Thank you.
Ms. Townsend, remember here about 5-6 years ago, we put a stop to a colonia there in Precinct 3. We got sued. And they won.
I think it's
We went to
mandated
federal
by
court and
state
we
through
lost,
the
right?
standard
Yes.
subdivision laws.
Oh, which one?
Well, 5, 6, 7 years ago. In Precinct 3, we put a stop to a colonia, we got sued and we lost.
And it was clearly a low-lying area, used to be a lake. We just need more authority from the state of Texas to authorize counties to do whatever is necessary to make sure that we don't allow these kind of developments to be created by developers, and then the problem when people go out there and buy these lots and it's low-lying area, the first rain, I mean, they come back to the county and wanting us to address the drainage issue, and that's where you start multiplying that times a few hundred times, and you can imagine the problem that exists. Yes, ma'am.
Judge and Commissioners, I just want to follow up on what...
This is Ms. Ann Cass.
I'm
She's
sorry.
also a member of the Drainage District Advisory Committee.
Yes, I work for Proyecto Steca, a member of the Equal Voice Network. But I just want to follow up on what Ms. Townsend just said, to indicate the fact that people who live in the colonias also pay taxes, okay? And like Dr. Guajardo said, they are the most vulnerable right now. As you all know, we don't need to tell you that the drainage in the colonias is far worse than it is in any city, and to the point that the state of Texas and the analysis of impediments have made it very clear that it is an impediment to fair housing, the fact that people who live in the colonias, their drainage does not work like it does where I live in North McAllen. So I surely hope that you will take the committee's recommendation, and when the $100 million is recovered, that $20 million would go to more direct projects for the colonias. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. Bernal, did you want to make a presentation on the reclamation project? Okay.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Appreciate your time this morning. Obviously, just in addressing, obviously, the watershed project and the project reclamation. We started working on this almost a year ago with the judge's staff and the commissioner's staff. This project will be one of the single largest projects in the impoverished parts of the county that will, as the Drainage District Director already mentioned, will create a revenue source in that we're going to be able to create a water treatment facility to produce in excess of 15 million gallons a day of water that will be able to provide water for over 100,000 people. And we're working obviously with the different angles of that where water won't just be sold in the Delta, but through interconnections, it'll be able to be sold through other cities. And then wholesale water being able to be sold to the other irrigation districts. So whereas many of these projects are simply cost components that it will not have revenue sources, we've really tried to develop this project in many ways with those tentacles to try to create some residual revenues for the county so that this project will be able to pay for itself and be a sustainable project long-term. And as has been mentioned, you know, we're really asking for the $10 million. We really need the funding to kind of get the land acquisition and the final engineering so that all of these other grant opportunities through EDA, EPA, that we can go after, we have our contribution in kind. That I think it's important that the taxpayers know that this is one of those projects we're really hoping to get 90% from other sources and only 10% from the local. We know that TCEQ has a lot of funding here. As you've heard in our previous presentation before the county, Senator Lucio is over that region and is a big supporter of this project, and we believe that there are a number of state and federal sources we're going to be able to go after, but we need the seed money to bring this project through to its fruition. And if you have any questions, I'd be prepared to answer those at this time.
Commissioner, you mentioned 14.1 million already designated for this project?
No. It's with this $14.1 million is designated to actually fix the drainage ponds that we have. We're calling it the Mercedes Wesco East Delta Lateral, starting approximately about mile 12 north between 491 and mile 2, going all the way north through the Delta area, impacting the city of La Villa as well. In working together with these elected officials in La Villa and of course Ryan and the city manager, Mr. Bernal, this is how this reclamation project came about, to complement the projects working together, reclaim this project, also create an economic boost toward the Delta area as well, and fix our drainage problems also. It's a huge project. The $14.1 million are through disaster recovery funds. It will directly impact 14 colonias within our precinct, Precinct 1, possibly 18. We're going to fix the drainage problems in those colonias as well. This is why the funding is so important for this reclamation project to continue and make it a success.
And that 14.1 million that will directly impact the colonias is not a part of the 24 that are listed here.
That is correct.
So that's an additional one. And so we're here, you're asking us to vote on either 5 or 10 or somewhere in between?
No, Judge, basically what we're here is presenting all the components of the proposed bond referendum. We will come before this board next Tuesday with a final list, and at that point, the board will vote on what resolution will be incorporated into the bond to incorporate what you've heard regarding the additional colonia money, what you've heard engaged on the reclamation project. So this is more of an informational presentation for this board, and have the people from the advisory board here to respond to any questions y'all might have.
I'd like to add, Judge, Commissioners, that the reclamation project is definitely the future, part of the future of Hidalgo County, in my opinion. It's a key program, a key project to reclaim this water. And like I said, in the future, generate revenues toward Hidalgo County, become a water producer of potable water. We're always looking for ways to fund our budget. You know, this would be one very viable tool that we could tap into resources later in the future to bring in these revenues, alleviate some of the burden on our taxpayers as well.
It's also it appears to be a very worthwhile project for the Delta area.
Completely. It affects the entire area and Hidalgo County.
And the county, yes. Are there any other comments? I'd like to, when we get back next week, if you could, since we were giving us an option of 5 or 10, if you'll tell us what 5 will get us and 10 will get us.
Yes, I'll be specific on what cost of the overall project that the Delta area could utilize the present money for, to take it to what level. And I will have the financial advisors run some numbers as to what the projected cost would be as far as taxes, So the board will have that information, and we'll try to get it to you prior to that meeting also, so to give you an opportunity to look at it and ask any additional questions y'all might have before the meeting of the 14th.
I believe $10 million would probably be like, what percentage, Ryan? About maybe 10% of the entire project?
I think it would account for approximately 10% of the
Which
total
would be
project.
basically the startup cost.
Yes, sir. And we believe that obviously those other federal and state sources will account for a lot of the monies.
Once you,
Yeah, but you're talking only that particular section.
that's correct, which affects the entire county. Yeah.
If you will also talk to the financial person so he can tell us the impact on the
Yes, sir.
tax rate.
Yes, sir, that's why I said I'll have him run some numbers for y'all and try to get it to y'all before the Tuesday meeting.
Thank you.
All right,
Give y'all a
and-
chance to look at it and review it.
All right, any other statements? If not, we'll proceed to item 6.
So we're very clear on the $20 million for the colonias, correct? Anything else you all wanted to add to that? Godfrey?
Basically, the advisory board has come before y'all for that consideration. In the resolution that bond council brings to this board at the time of the voting, you will incorporate that language, if that is the wishes of the board, into it. And I'll have Mr. Chuy Ramirez be in contact with each one of y'all. He's got some draft language being drawn up already, and it'll be up to the board how you include that language.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. May I continue, Judge?
Yes, please.
Under item 6, request approval to accept bid and award of construction contract to the lowest bidder meeting all requirements specifications for RFB number 12-0110711 J09 drainage improvements, Phase 1 irrigation siphon.
Where's that at? Where's that at?
Oh, it is over here north of Edinburgh, northwest on the J09. It's a precinct number 4 project.
Okay, move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval to accept bids and award construction contract to the lowest bidder meeting all requirements and specifications for RFB number 12-0120718, installation of rock riprap on weir number 2 in conjunction with NRCS.
Move
On
to
that-
approve.
Is that over by the South Branch?
Yes, sir. We had 4 bidders on that one. The lowest bid was $211,060 by L&G Concrete Construction. The next lowest bidder was ERS of MS Inc. for $446,390. The next bidder was McAllen Construction Inc. with $593,371. And the next bidder signs utility contractors for $692,343. The lowest bid was from L&G Concrete Construction for $211,060.
Move to approve.
Approval?
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, under closed session, I'd like for the board for consideration under pending or potential litigation.
All right, this time pursuant to 551, 071, and 072, need a motion to proceed to
Move to
executive
approve.
session.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll be in executive session for hopefully about 15 minutes. How you doing, Ryan?
Good minute. Excited.
Yes, sir.
I need pictures. Do you, of the, I also need the tax breaks and the top.
Geo Underground from 183 and McAllen Construction from 177.
Hire an engineer to look at the guardrail complex.
Yeah.
And I get us here for that. We've also got Mr. I'll write them down for you, the items that we need to jump on.
Sorry, I missed your call, man.
No. We're trying to, IT has set up this, they want to validate that the thing, they'll take the water from the computer. Yeah. the test run for the season fund. They put in some data, and it's reading all of the park field. But the balances, the numbers, they want you to validate to make sure that the fields are correct, and then the sum, and it equals the sum at the end.
Yeah, we're good at that.
IT says that they're not financial people, which is okay. But they said they send you an email back in March, and there's no response. The thing is, nobody follows up on it. And now we're going to follow up on it. Michael Blow.
Well, I did when I was at so, but I checked the email.
But here's what's happening. The budget says, well, we can validate it, but you gotta keep doing what you're doing. So we'll train me enough and we'll validate it. And I said, well, why are we really to do it in order to be able to do it? When we go online, you're going to be doing all that anyway. So,
I haven't checked my emails, but once I check it, somebody the audit.
let me talk to Ray. Let me ask Ray to resend an email.
So are we ready?
I think so. I think as far as the system is concerned, we're okay. We're going to collect $20. We're going to give it to the tax assessor. They're going to look at.
Can't give anything to him.
Well, we're going to put it in a fund and we're going to put it in the budget.
Because he collects $300 million, you can't give it to him.
Well, he's going to run it, you know.
No, pero what I'm saying
Yes,
is
I understand.
the way you do that is with the budget fund.
Right, to the budget fund.
Okay,
And you know, the
but since we see that we are specific purpose fee, when we approve the expenditure, we need to make sure that those funds are used specific purpose. And he's gonna do it by or he's gonna pay payment of whatever.
That's
it's gonna be done through the process.
that's in the future. You know, what we need to do is start collecting the money to see if we can collect it. If it's not supposed to be it's been proven in other counties. I think we've been successful here to collect the money. We need the money that are not being collected in the budget. The only reason that we're trying to do this is because we got another 8 million budget. You know, it's been budget something. But then we got 40 million. If we collect some of this money, I think everybody will be at ease. It's okay. Now what are we doing? Well, that's not our job. The budget process.
I bet you you're gonna be able to collect $1 million this year.
We're not on camera.
Off the end.
Yeah, right here.
But the other,
Look, my projection is we're gonna collect. Effectively, we're gonna collect it. That's it. We collect it. I think the committee's moving okay. I think that the third party can do the, nobody, you said, we gotta find the, well, this one could be more
I've got it. 15, yes, I've got it. I appreciate it. I already wrote it down. Thank you so much. Which item was that? 22A. 22A4. Yes, ma'am.
You know, and it just took one time.
22A4, yes. A4B, yes. Yes, ma'am.
This is my next one. It's not working. I'm gonna talk to the president. And here's the other one. Look at that. Look at that. We're already close to meeting with the same aspect and moving in. My deal is, everything's going to be telling us to do this, this, and that. Versus, okay, and these kids need work, and that's what we're here for. They need work. Well, I'll tell you what, you ran out of money. You need we'll pay you next October. How much would you say? I've checked some of the vouchers. I do that routine audit for some of the vouchers. And meeting with the family meet with the family in the evening, 3 hours. If you remember them in the morning, why do you have to meet them in the evening? And that's the message we're going to send to the church. Do you have a question? There's no. He wants to pay. He wants to pay. He wants to get there. Look at that. This is met with the family in the morning, 3 hours. Met with the family in the evening, another 3 hours. You can
for info.
I think. Don't you?
Didn't take much.
That was smart though.
All right, we're going to be back in open session on our Drainage District Board of Directors meeting. Mr. Garza?
Yes, sir. I brought some issues for discussion by the board. At this time, I'll turn it over to legal counsel for his recommendation.
Judge, Commissioners, I think a motion is in order to present all claim documents of Dannenbaum Engineering to
I'll move to that
the
effect.
auditor.
Second.
And this is in response to item 8C, the claim of Dannenbaum Engineering. We have a motion and a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
Send it to
carries. At this time, we're going to proceed and go back to our regular meeting of Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, August 7, 2012. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and bow our heads. Almighty God, we come together today for the good of the citizens of Hidalgo County. Give us your wisdom as we make decisions that will affect them today and the years to come. Help us to work well together, recognizing that each of us are here because we want what is best for Hidalgo County. We ask for your blessing and your guidance. In your name we pray, O Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Any concerns, Mr. Ofracio, with the consent agenda?
I don't have any, Judge, unless someone else has a concern. We don't have any on the consent.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I know we have a policy of,
Oh, we need a vote, Judge.
sir?
Did we vote on
To
that?
approve the
Oh, I'm
consent
sorry.
agenda as presented.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. I know we have a policy of acknowledging our elected officials, but today I want to go ahead and supersede that and move on to item number 15 and recognize our future leaders of the county, our young people that are here today from the 4-H clubs from throughout the county of Hidalgo. The Texas Agri-Life Extension Service, the introduction of the 2012 to 2013 Hidalgo County 4-H ambassadors. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us here. I am Christina Bettis. I am your County Extension 4-H and Youth Development Agent. I've been here in this position since February, and since then, it's been a wonderful opportunity. I've had a great opportunity to get to know these kids especially. I want to introduce you all to 2012-2013 Hidalgo County 4-H ambassadors. And let me just tell you really quick a little about 4-H. 4-H is a youth development organization that prepares youth to meet the challenges of childhood, adolescence, and then into adulthood through many various educational opportunities. So before you, like I said, these are the ambassadors. They're yours. They're ours. And I wanted to introduce them to you because they're very special. They're the best of the best. They're 4-Hers, and they are here to provide service to the community in any way possible that they can. And the mission of the 4-H Ambassador Program is to promote and advertise 4-H to other youth, volunteers, and community leaders. These young adults before you are the spokespersons for the 4-H program. They will help others understand how 4-H affects the lives of the young people and how it addresses key youth issues in the community and state. These ambassadors, like I said, they're going to provide services throughout the year, and whether it be community service, whether it be representing the 4-H in schools, or just helping out in the community, they're here to provide for us. And if there is anything that we can do for you all, we will be more than happy to help in any way. We're going to do planning, we're going to be marketing, we're going to be presenting a lot of this year. So I just want to take an opportunity really quick to introduce each and every one of these ambassadors. And we'll start off here with Marcus, and you will go ahead and present.
Good morning. My name is Marcus Garcia. I am a member of the Cactus Country 4-H group, and I serve as your 2012-2013 chairman for the Hidalgo County Council.
Good morning. My name is Emilio Flores, and I'm from the Lynn Commonwealth 4-H, and I serve as the second vice president for the 2012-2013.
Hello, I am Trevor Rusiga. I am from McAllen, Texas. I represent the Four Winds 4-H Club, and happy to be here.
Good morning. My name is Claudia Martinez. I am from Queen City 4-H Club, located in Mercedes, Texas. Thank you. Good morning. I am Brianna Bullion. I am a member of the New Horizons 4-H Club, located in McAllen.
Good morning, I'm Marisa Luna. I'm from Starlight 4-H and I'm the president.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Ricks, and I am serving as a 2012-2013 ambassador, along with the Alamo FNF 4-H Club, which I am currently the president.
Good morning, my name is Crystal Olivares and I'm in Town and Country 4-H Club located in Edinburgh, Texas. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Robin Perez and I am president of the Queen City 4-H Club, and I am from Weslaco, Texas.
Good morning, my name is Ariana Garcia. I'm from the Lynn Commonwealth 4-H Club and I am my club's parliamentarian.
Good morning, I am Itza Garza from the Four Winds 4-H Club, and I represent Edinburgh, Texas.
Good morning, I'm Brianna Pena from the Lynn Commonwealth 4-H Club, where I serve as the first vice president.
Good morning, I'm Adriana de los Santos from the Lynn Commonwealth 4-H Club located in Lynn.
Good morning, my name is Clarissa Olivares, and I'm from Town and Country 4-H Club, where I am president of my club. I serve as vice president of county council. I am delegate at large for district council, and I serve as a state council member at the state level. And I'm from Edinburgh, Texas.
Good morning, I'm Emily Beamsley from McAllen, Texas. I am currently the vice president of the Four Winds 4-H Club. I am the first vice president for District 12, and I am a member of State Council as well.
Good morning, my name is Charlene Beamsley. I am from the Four Winds 4-H Club, where I serve as treasurer.
Judge, commissioners, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's great work. Congratulations to all of you for your accomplishments. And we have present with us our district attorney, Mr. Rene Guerra, and he is here, I believe, on item 22A4B. No lo vi, no lo conozco. Marty?
22A4B?
At this time, we are announcing that there will be no action taken on this item.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
That includes all of item 4, Marty? All of item 4, A, B, and C? Yes. All right. And we have our county clerk, Mr. Arturo Guajardo, here with us, and he is here, I believe, on item 7B.
Judge, good morning. Karina Cardoso with the Public Affairs. It's actually item 7A. It's a recognition of the Hidalgo County Clerk's Office for being honored with the NACRC's Best Practice Award for Records Management. And yes, we are joined here by our Honorable County Clerk, Mr. Arturo Guajardo, and a staff member of his, Mr. Armando Perez. And I'm going to introduce a little bit about the award that he received, and then we'd like to have him say a few words and then take a picture. So the National Association of County Recorders, Election Officials, and Clerks awarded our County Clerk's Office with the Best Practice Award in Records Management. If you recall, earlier this year, the County Clerk's Office was also recognized by the Texas Association of Counties for a Best Practice Award in Innovation. This award by the NACRC was awarded to recognize the office for their newly implemented program entitled Record, Retain, and Recycle. This program initiated a countywide recycle plan that reduces overcrowding, managing paper waste, and accounts for environmental sustainability for the county. So we are very proud of the county clerk and his staff for their efforts into reducing our waste and really making a mark across the nation for Hidalgo County. Mr. Guajardo?
Good morning,
Good morning.
sir.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Glad to be here again. It's really exciting to be surrounded by great team players here. We've got great staff. Armando Perez, as you well know, I introduced him to you last time we were here, leads the team over there at our records management facility. And we were really excited a few months ago when the Texas Association of Counties recognized this department with the Best Practices Award. And now to receive an award at the national level makes it really, really special. So I'm really proud of them. They take their job very serious, and I can't ask for better folks over there. So thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning.
No, thank you for the work that you do. You know, record keeping is one of the most important things that we do at the county level. They record everything that happens. All of the courts that we have are courts of record. All of the transactions that we are involved in order to be legal need to be recorded, and they're all done, all the deeds are at your office. So certainly to be given this recognition, not just at the state, but now the national level, is quite an achievement.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate that very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to show the plaque that they received, and I'll read it. I'll hold it carefully. It says, the National Association of County Recorders, Election Officials, and Clerks, the Records Management Best Practices Award. We salute County Clerk's Office, Hidalgo County, Texas, presented this 13th day of July, 2012. Congratulations.
No problem.
Take a picture. Let's go down.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you come up?
Thank you. It's a better, congratulations. Este va acá para el
I'll get behind
See?
right there.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, and our item 17A, our public defender.
Morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner. My name is Jose Bravo. I'm the first assistant with the Public Defender's Office, standing in for Jaime Gonzalez. We're here on 17A AI-33517, appointment of Juan Rodolfo Flores as volunteer intern at the Public Defender's Office. Just to introduce a little bit about him, Mr. Flores is a local product. He graduated cum laude with a bachelor's in political science and psychology from Pan Am. Eventually went to a University of Texas at Austin and got his Juris Doctorate, graduated in May in 2012. We expect him to start with our office as an intern, and we'll be awaiting his bar results in November.
Very good, sir. Congratulations, and thank you for volunteering your services here. All right, let's move back. Move back to item number 5, our executive officer.
Thank you, Judge. There's no action right now under item 5A, 1 and 2, unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. Item 5B, I will ask our independent auditor to come to the podium. It is presentation and acceptance of independent audit report for the year ended December 31st, 2011. The package in front of you, Judge, Commissioners, is the independent audit.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Longoria.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning again. My name is Rico Longoria. I'm a partner with Burt McCormick Cortez. I'm here today to present the results in very summary form of our audit of the County of Hidalgo for the year ended December 31st, 2011. Before I begin, I believe Ms. Flores wanted to come up here and share something with you related to the audit. And so, if you don't mind, I'm going to pass the mic along over to her, please.
This is just a Head Start success story. Several years of auditing, and last year we found out that the auditor, Dalia Peña, had been a former Head Start student. So we were very pleased. Well, this year, I'm sorry, it was Adele Felix last year. And this year, we get another auditor, and we find out she's a former Head Start student. So we were very pleased to share this with you. And we had a great audit. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mrs. Flores. I am going to go over some things. Again, just to confirm, the audit is complete, has been submitted to the County Auditor's Office, and the County Auditor has further submitted that audit report over to the GFOA, the Government Finance Officers Association, for the purposes of evaluation regarding the GFOA certificate. As you're aware, the county has received the GFOA certificate for the past 10 years, at least the past 10 years, and so certainly I want to congratulate them on that effort. In terms of things that we're going to cover today, again, I've always mentioned that there are certain required communications that I must convey to you. One relates to any significant audit findings, and what I mentioned in the past relates to a change in the nomenclature or the description of the fund balance. What used to be unreserved is now considered unassigned and things of that nature, so just making you aware of the change in the terminology. Difficulties incurred in performing the audit. I can't say that there was anything one specific item. I've always spoke to the court about just the sheer size of the audit. As you mentioned earlier, Judge, the county employs over 3,000 people, and so certainly it is a great undertaking. And so things do come about during the course of the audit, but certainly not anything that goes unresolved. In terms of corrected and uncorrected mistakes, certainly there were some adjustments that were posted throughout the audit, and they were accepted by the County Auditor's Office as well as the agencies. With regard to any disagreements with management, again, certainly in the normal course of any audit, there is discussion regarding things that come about during the course of the audit, but not anything, again, that was not unresolved. With respect to any consultation with other accountants, to our knowledge, the county did not consult with any other accountants regarding any accounting or auditing issues. Other findings and issues, there are none. And with regard to other information and documents within audited financial statements, there is a large supplementary section in the back of the audit report. In terms of our audit report letter and opinion, the audit report is an unqualified opinion, and mentioned to you all before that this is the highest level of assurance that an auditor can provide its client, and it basically states that in our opinion the financial statements which have been provided present fairly in all material respects in the financial position of the county. And again, it does lead to material, meaning it's not meant to be an exact document, but rather something that's fairly presented. The one number that I've always shared with the court relates to what is now called the unassigned general fund balance, and I've gone ahead and put it in graph form. Last year, I conveyed to you that the county had reached the highest level of fund balance that it had in many, many years, certainly in my years in working with the county. As of December 31st, 2011, the county was able to grow its fund balance somewhat, certainly not at the rate that it has historically. I think the biggest challenge for the county relates to whether you can maintain that level of fund balance. Last year, when the budget was adopted, there was a thought that maybe the county may have to eat into its fund balance, but once it was all said and done, as the graph indicates, the county was able to actually add money to its fund balance. I know, given the economic circumstances that we as a whole, not just the county, but the country as a whole, is facing in terms of from an economic standpoint, where we have property values that are essentially flat. We have people, or just citizens in general, whose appetite for additional taxes is not that great. Certainly, it makes it more difficult for public entities to try to maintain a fund balance. And so I would just encourage the county on a going forward basis, as it thinks about doing more projects and really relate to those projects, going out and getting more financing, that certainly fund balance is something that any prospective bond purchaser will certainly be looking like. And if you can create fund balance in some of the most difficult times, I certainly think that would bode well for the financial stability of the county. And one other thing I want to mention with respect to fund balance, I think the county has tried to maintain at least a 60-day level of fund balance. I've computed an amount that's in the 80s, so certainly the county has met its goal, if you will, in terms of fund balance, but then the question becomes, is 60 enough? Several years ago, I think the gold standard for fund balance was 120 days, and now the new normal, I believe it to be 90 days. But certainly having 60 days is certainly a good goal. But again, I go back to more fund balance is better. In terms of a tax rate valuation, just a reminder to those in the audience that the essential tax rate of the county has not changed for some time. Also, too, going back to total tax revenues, you'll see that J curve, upside down J curve, which is very similar to the curve that we saw with the fund balance. Again, seeing tax revenue either flatten or start to fall. Total bonded debt, the reason I show that amount is primarily just to confirm that the county is paying its debts as it should, and the fact that it has paid those debts in accordance with the terms of the bond issuances. In terms of the single audit reporting, we do have single audit reports that are in a separate bound document, just advising the court that both of those reports are unqualified reports. And then the last comment I wanted to discuss was just any management letter comments and recommendations. When you perform an audit or conduct an audit the size of the county, and you have as many moving parts as you do within the county, certainly it's not unusual for an auditor, whether it's an independent auditor or even an internal auditor, to find things where things can be improved upon. And so I'm not going to get into the detail of the comments that were made, but rather what I'd like to say is just continue to encourage the county to work in trying to resolve any of the prior year findings and comments. We still have a couple that are carrying over from year to year. And one thing I would like to share, and I'm glad Ms. Flores is here, is when we had our exit conference with Head Start, what she conveyed to me was with respect to these prior year comments, they are now starting to impact Head Start from the standpoint that in the past, or at least now, they have to go out and bid or compete for the funding that they get, and they typically do it on a 5-year basis. And their grantor is now saying, unless the county as a whole starts to resolve its prior year comments, then that's going to affect the Head Start program, because it's now going to require them to compete for funds on a much shorter basis. And so, again, I would just continue to encourage the county to please work on trying to get those prior year comments done. That there has been some headway, but there's still a handful of those that are laying out there that need to be cleared. Judge and Commissioners, that's my presentation, and certainly open to any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions? Not, we certainly want to thank you, Mr. Longoria, for your presentation. And your opinions.
Thank you.
Good work.
All right.
You have to vote for a second.
Need a motion. Yes.
Move for approval on that?
Need a second? Second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Guerra?
Item C, I'm going to ask Marty Salazar to come to the podium, but item C is a status update on the renovations of the old administration building.
How long have they been working on it now?
When I was
Good morning, Marty Salazar for purchasing. On the status of the building, we are now in the phase of, let me just get to my page first. We're now on the phase of moving on with the schedule, which, as you can see, we anticipate to bring the AIA contract to you on August 21st with the pre-construction meeting and notice to proceed by no later than August 24th. We wanted to commence construction on August 27th. Project completion is scheduled for 320 days, and that's commencing August 27th, and that would be completed July 13th of 2013. Now, I understand, pardon me?
We hadn't even started?
No, you've awarded the contract. Right now, we're getting the payment performance bonds and the AIA contract with between the county.
But we've been out of there for over 2 years.
Yes, sir. I understand that.
Okay, what has been the delay?
Oh, there have been numerous, first of all, there were alterations to the specs and plans when it was found that we could not renovate the courtroom, the Commissioner's Court, to address your technology issues because of the ceiling. That had to be redesigned. There have been, of course, your remediations. There have been changes when the South Tower was all designated to the DA. There have been numerous issues that had to be addressed before we got here. So we've awarded the contract. The contract's due to be brought to you on August 21st for approval. However, you're going to have another item under purchasing today that addresses your modular buildings that you wish to, that we're proposing you all consider purchasing in order to move 5 courts onto the courthouse site. That now brings you to a situation where you have 2 courts that are currently operating in the administration building, that being County Court of Law Number 7 and your CPS court. Now, if this schedule holds, they cannot be in the building. There's going to be a lot of noise, a lot of dust, a lot of demolition, which would be, you know, a liability to the county since you have so many people visiting the court. So at this point, we have discussed the issue with the architect. He is going to be sitting down with your awarded contractor, which is D. Wilson, and trying to accommodate some type of short-term postponement of the of the commencement of the work in order to have time to get in the modulars and have them fully operational. We believe that is going to happen sometime in September. They should be here. We still have to, we have an item on the agenda. The only component there, it would be to solicit proposals from a JOC to do your site work so that once they are here, the plumbing and the electrical are ready to go. So we now find ourselves at this situation where we're going to be working very closely with Mr. Wilson Construction. In this aspect, how long can the contractor hold his bid without jeopardizing their withdrawal or their announcement, not withdrawal, but their announcement that they cannot proceed with a timeline that is any more than 30 more days or 45 to get those modular buildings in?
Well, then how long would it take him to get them?
The modular buildings, it's my understanding that we would if we were to proceed, Oscar's in the
Mr. Garza
audience.
is here. We've been working, he has been,
We've been talking about.
Right, we would.
right, but he's been doing the legwork.
Oscar, please, we would be looking at September, but there's probably 2 months' worth of work on the actual setup, the utilities, 30 days?
30 days.
Okay, the utilities, the water lines, plus, we've already started the process with the city of Edinburgh.
Are we gonna meet the deadline over there?
Yes, we should have it all operational. It's my understanding that November.
Yes, if we can get this approved by the commissioner today, and we should purchase order, we can have the units approximately now, it would be late part of September, early part of October, with 30 days finish out.
We have a deadline.
Right, we have deadline. And our December 6th is our deadline. And so we're looking at the early part of November to have it operational so we could start the process and the move.
We're giving ourselves that 30-day cushion, Commissioner.
We should be able to have them up.
So we do have items under purchasing that, which will, and then I can give you an update next week after the architect speaks to the contractor. I think we're going to work along. We're giving him some direction as to mobilization, any exterior work that can be done. Remember, the place is going to have to be staged. There's going to be building of any ramps or covered walkways into the building. All of that, I think, will give us the time we need to get those modulars in.
Well, then what about all the sewer work and the water lines? Can it be done before?
There's an item on the agenda for that too,
Yes.
Commissioner.
Yeah, because that's gonna take some time.
Yes, that we're proposing to do through job order contractors. So there is an item further on the agenda unless you want to take it up right now.
No, but
No, let's take it up for the agenda.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, go ahead.
What I would recommend is that you have a standing item on the agenda.
That's what we're working under, a standing item.
So keep us abreast in terms of any changes in the timelines.
Oh, yes, sir. That's why we do have the standing item, and that is why I'm up here at the podium. We have an item every week on any construction project that we have ongoing, with ability to take action if necessary. Okay?
I noticed that you're only addressing County Court 7, 8, Master Court 1, CPS, and 430th. And we need to start getting a little bit concerned about what do we do with the county judge's office.
We're still discussing that. We're not.
Well,
Did you see to your right? To your
Ma'am?
left? Commissioner Palacios is telling me. We actually are looking into one of these luxury mobile homes, Judge, and you could be mobile. I'm just kidding. No, we are addressing that issue.
Well, we're not kidding. I mean, it's looking at.
I know.
If we
No,
look
it
at
is, it is one of the components to this move that we are working on. I will have a word for you.
What does that mean? We're not going to have this project completed until July of 2013. Between now and then, we're about to be moved out of that Metroplex. What are the plans that you have for the county judge's office?
You're gonna be moved to those portable buildings.
No hay lugar.
Well,
No hay lugar?
We could make room.
There's options.
Are you gonna have?
There's options.
I think there would be options to get something done quickly.
the option that we're looking at is probably another modular that we have. We have the Shady Lawn parking lot that we could also.
Actually, we also have the parking lot directly east of the bank also, because it's a smaller parking lot, so then we could use Shady Lawn as a much bigger parking lot for those employees that use the administration building.
You
So
say
we'll be
east-
bringing that to you within a week or two.
Well, this is where a facilities plan is so important. You know, we keep on going back and forth with
Right.
these situations. I don't think the judge should be working out of a modular either. I think he needs to be located somewhere, you know, in a permanent building. That's my opinion.
Where at?
I don't know, we need to find a
The
place.
the modulars actually that are going to be, not that I agree with you, they should be in a courthouse, I understand that. But they are going to be quite functional and quite comfortable. This company has really worked very hard, even to give us the facade that adheres to the city's protocol. So, I mean, their codes. So it is going to be, it has going to be the ADA. So I think they're going to be very useful for what they're meant to do, which is a temporary housing. But they are not going to be a school-type modular that you see.
Valde.
For classrooms.
Would help you, we have some space in McAllen at the old tax office. Could that building be used for the house of the judge? And,
The one on Hackberry?
yeah, understand?
I don't know that anyone is in there right now.
No, I don't believe there's anyone in
Well, the
there.
plan is to make it available
At that
to the
point,
tax
we can-
office so they can reopen that for services.
I recall the discussion.
Yeah. But prior to them moving, I don't know about space-wise, would it accommodate the county judge and all the staff?
It is quite a large building.
Is-
It is true. Because it was the tax office and then in the back was the
And we
health
leave.
department.
No, it's a good, go ahead.
Go ahead, Martin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you through?
Yes, but we will bring something for you on a couple of options for you
When?
within a week,
All right.
okay? We'll set that goal for
All right.
ourselves.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Get together with Yolanda as you're doing it.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions on that item? If not, let's proceed to the next one, Valde.
Thank you. Item D, this is we have an individual that we're wanting to house in one of our, in our buildings. So for emergency management, we're asking authorization to allow a regional advisory council employee, Mr. Danny Ramirez, to be housed in the emergency management offices. Oscar, do you want to give a little background?
Sure. Basically, he's one of the coordinators for the Emergency Management Task Force. He plays a big part in response to emergencies, including yesterday, he took out a trailer for us and stuff to the scene out there south of McAllen. He also plays a very important role during hurricanes because he sits in the DDC in McAllen. And from a tactical standpoint, he's willing to respond with us and assist us with some of the equipment that he has. It would be a win-win for us. Given the shortage on space, all we're really asking for is a place. Most of his job is on the road. I just wanted to cover all our bases of any problems that may occur. He just needs a place for his computer and stuff like that. And I'd be willing to make space for him
Vote to
because
approve.
it'll outweigh the.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Judge,
Item E.
Item E is authority for the executive officer to sign the inspection response form for Texas Department of License and Regulation Compliance Division. This is for the architectural barriers for Precinct 2 administrative offices.
Vote to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, item F is discussion, consideration, and action on an amendment to the Mercado Delta lease agreement and the County of Hidalgo. If you recall, Commissioners, about 3 weeks ago or so, we entered into a lease agreement with the Mercado Delta to utilize some of their space for barber stores, the extension service. They have come back and they have given us an additional 960 square feet for the same price, for the same rental price that we're paying a month. So I'm asking the court to consider and approve an amendment to the agreement to include a 24 by 40 space which is the conference room area that the county would utilize as well. For all again for
What
the same.
exactly is this for, brother? Explain that again.
I'm sorry?
Explain it again, please.
About 3-4 weeks ago, Commissioner, we had a lease agreement that came before court, and it was to expand services for the agricultural extension service out in that area. And the area that we were looking at was the Delta Mercado area. So there was a agreement that was entered into. It was $20,750 a year for some office space. They've come back and says that they will provide an additional 960 square feet, which is a conference room, to help and aid Barbara in her presentations.
For no extra charge?
No, for the same $20,750 a year.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item G is, I'm asking approval to process a payment for the claims of J. Roel Garcia, attorney at law, totaling $395. This is an invoice period of July 2008 to September 2008.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Why did it take 4 years, Bobby?
I'm sorry?
That's a long time.
Right, it just falls through the cracks, and then they present them, but this is again subject to the auditor's review and processing. So the auditor will ultimately decide. And I'm asking for a no action under item H.
All right, sir. Then let's proceed to item number 6.
For the constables.
Our constables.
Do I have someone from Constable Precinct 1? Oh, there we go.
Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioners, we're here to ask for approval to accept the local border star security program from the grant award in the amount of $40,000 from the Texas Ranger Division, Texas DPS for the period of July the 6th, 2012 to January 31st, 2013.
Second.
All right, and that will include 2 and 3?
Yes, sir. Items 1, 2, and 3.
All right. Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7B.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Bobby Villarreal with the County Judge's Office. Just wanted to give y'all an update on some resolutions. A few weeks ago, y'all had approved some language for us to take to Cameron County and the Cameron County RMA. We went Thursday. Commissioner Joseph Palacios from Precinct 4 went and spoke on the court's behalf, and they were unanimously approved by both entities. They were very supportive on continuing both corridors and for us to continue going forward on trying to get interstate standards on both corridors. So Pilar Rodriguez from the RMA attended as well with me and Commissioner Palacios. So I just want to give you all that update. Things went well.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Item 8, our Sheriff's Office.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. All right, authorization, approval of a budget amendment to deobligate remaining funds from the OCDEF Task Force grant, the 811, in the amount of $2,050.09 and transfer it to the OCDEF case 0811H.
Which approved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, our Health Department. Item 10, our Emergency Management.
Morning again, Judge, Commissioners. On item 10A, authorization approval to accept 2009 Homeland Security Grant decrease. This is housekeeping. We're just trying to close out the grant. And then I don't know if y'all want to take item 2 as well. It's
Yes, we do.
okay. So in item 2 is approval of 2012 unappropriation of funds for 2009 Homeland Security Grant. That was a just short of $1 million grant from back then, and this is just to close it out.
Move to approve items 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. God bless.
Item 11, our Facilities Management.
Judge, Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Facilities Management. We're requesting your approval for application to install temporary water meter at John Austin Peña facility for construction purposes.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Danny, should you be involved in the presentation on where we are in construction of the buildings? And I mean, we're letting purchasing.
Our department, yes, sir.
Well, I'd like for you to get more involved. When they make the presentations, I'd like to talk to somebody who's really there, hands-on, looking at the project, not just when they let it out for bids.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Item 12, our IT department.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. We have a few items here. Item 12A is authorization and approval of current service through the county's contract with Verizon. This is for the Elections Department. They are getting an office-use cell phone. I would request approval on 12A.
Move to approve.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 12B is an equipment upgrade for the Planning Department. It is a 99-cent equipment upgrade. I believe they're just upgrading to a newer version of a handset.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
12C is a claim on an invoice between the county and AT&T Internet. There was a lapse in the contract and not anything of the county's fault. We were purchasing our internet services directly through AT&T through the state contract DIR. We were instructed by DIR that now we would need to contract through DIR. So that contract started at the beginning of the year, but technically they did not transfer the service from AT&T to DIR till a few months ago. So there is a lapse of about 6 months in the contract, and that's why it's got to be a claim. It's not of any of our faults. We're just trying to wrap up and get these payments out.
Move for approval.
Second.
Is number 6, 9, 12, is that, are we having a zero missing, or is
No,
that?
the 6 is a prorated amount, sir.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Item 13, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning,
Francisco
sir.
Martinez for Urban County Program.
Yes, sir.
Item A, requesting approval of a program amendment for the City of Elsa to its Urban County Program Funding Year 23, 2010 work plan. The amendment would add the following activity in the Water and Sewer Improvements Project: the relocation of water and sewer lines on FM 88 and 107 and the general vicinity, to include but not limited to engineering fees, testing fees, advertisements, and all expenses related to the project. The proposed program amendment would not affect the original budget.
What's the total of the amendment? What's the total of the amendment?
It's just gonna move the project to another street. But it's not gonna affect any amount.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval to cancel the application for Omar and Abelarda Gonzalez at the request of the home staff.
What's the reason?
Second.
Those in
They
favor,
wanted to demolish the house, but the family refuses to do that.
Really?
those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item C, requesting authorization to dispose of community development block grant records for program years 1998 through 2004.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D, Urban County Program is requesting Commissioners Court approval of a resolution designating authorized signatures for contractual documents and documents for requesting funds pertaining to the TX CDBG contracts number 729055, number 71195, and number 711245.
Move for approval on A, B, and C.
Second.
On A, B.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
And number 2 says consideration and approval to authorize the county judge to sign any and all contractual documents associated with Texas Department of Agriculture contracts number 729055, 71195, and 711245.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
And the last one, letter E,
Motion carries.
the Urban County Program is requesting the award of bids and approval of a contract for demolition and reconstruction of the following 3 units in the countywide area in the amount of $143,620 to G&G Contractors.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Steve, is our document retention policy 7 years or 10?
Well, this would be a federal statute, so I need to check and see what the federal statute is.
You might look into it. I always thought it was 10.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Yvonne Ramon, Elections Department, with just an update, no action needed. Just giving you the first page are the elections, possible elections for this November 2012, keeping in mind that August 20th is a very important date. That's the last day to order an election and a last day for a candidate to file for a place on the ballot. Also keep in mind that the 24th is the deadline for write-in. So some of these are possible. We won't know until those dates. Those that are in white are those that have not yet confirmed whether they will lease or full contract. Those that are in yellow have already committed to us running their election. Those in purple, we will be running their election because we were petitioned. So just for your FYI. I also told you, Judge, that I would be bringing in a draft of the early voting and election day sites. You will see that on both, what is highlighted in yellow, there will be a change. We're looking at the possibility. I know you've given us some suggestions, and we're in the midst of looking at those changes. Also, keep in mind that if, for example, La Villa ISD, Donna ISD, Ed Couch Elsa ISD, if they do have an election, then we may have to add an early voting site to these locations that have already been listed here. So changes are coming as entities decide if they will be having an election or not. So I just wanted to give you this update so that you will start to review it. And if you have any suggestions or questions, please don't hesitate to contact me so that we can move forward.
All right.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good
Greetings
morning.
from Head Start. School opens on Monday for our children, and we have 3 agenda items here. 2 actually, see. We have an agenda item for discussion and approval to advertise for sealed bids and approval of draft specifications for the relocation of Palmview 1 Head Start building located at 501 Commercial Boulevard, Palmview, Texas, 78572, to be moved to 1208 Paula Drive, Palmview, Texas.
Move for approval.
Second.
When are you going to be moving this?
Yes.
But when?
We're bidding it out. We have an extension until December to get out of the location where we're at, and so we're trying to bid it out so that we can be able to relocate.
Because you just said the school's going to start Monday.
Pardon?
You said it was going to start Monday. Where are you going to house it?
Well, not that building. The children from that building, I'll explain to you where they're going.
What about the one with the roof? The one with the roof problem? Did they finish that one already?
No. We're on with a contractor, and that's one of the job order contractors, and we are really very concerned that he's not going to be done by Friday, but we have an alternative plan,
So you're going to have that Head Start plus the other one?
plus the, yes.
Where are you going to house all those kids?
Okay, in the agenda items where we have here on the sealed bid drafts, I'm sorry, for letter A right there, that's a location in Mission on Bryan Road, and it is a TMC location. They're currently using it, but they're not going to use it anymore, so they're getting out of that contract, and we're going to be able to get into the contract with this gentleman if you approve this. And, you know, we get it licensed. It is a licensed facility. It is a 5-classroom facility, and what we would be doing is transporting the children from Palmview to the Bryan Center, and then once the building is moved, we'll be able to transport them
All
back.
right, move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. 16.
The letter B is
16A.
the recommending of the award of
No,
the
B.
bid through seal quotes and approval of short-term lease contract to the lowest bidder, Luis E. Ortiz Estates, meeting all the specifications and requirements as detailed in tabulation sheet contained herein for classroom space. And the second part would be approval of a short-term lease not to exceed 180 days and not to exceed $50,000 for competitive requirements.
Do you have any problem with that, Steve, or Mr.? No?
I don't.
There was a
The auditor had a concern, but Marty will address it.
There was a concern by the auditor. First of all, this is a short-term lease. Leases can be exempted. We've gone through a quote instead. This is not going to exceed. The auditor's concern is that because we expend more than $50,000 in leases per year, it should have been competitively bid through
Yeah, but
advertising.
it's too late to do that now.
But every lease, Commissioner, in my opinion, every lease is starting from scratch. Not any lease is exact. So I believe this is due to the nature. We could have exempted it. We're going the extra mile. We went through quotes.
But your recommendation is to
Yes,
go ahead.
is that we
How many
proceed.
square feet is that?
It's 5 classrooms, it's 5,075 square feet. Is that correct? Yes. And that'll take care of the number of children that we're moving from the 5 classrooms. We're actually 8 classrooms, but we're only moving 5.
From both facilities? Or just the
No.
one in Palmview?
This is the way we're going to handle Palmview 1. We'll move the children over to this facility. The roof, the old facility that we're abandoning,
Yeah.
we're going to open there. We're going to open on all 8 classrooms that we have there, and we'll be able to accommodate. Between that and those one over here, we'll be able to take care of the children who absorbed 1 classroom in the Austin Center, which we're opening also here in McAllen. We absorbed slots. So we're taking care of all the children. With the process that we're using in terms of the abandoned building being used until we finish the roof and until we move the building.
Okay, on that roof there by the mansion, how long would it take for them to finish it? Maybe by Friday or what?
Well, we were anticipating that they were going to be done by Friday. It's been difficult to get in touch. We do not get calls returned from the job order contractor, and those are things we're going to write up once we're done with this project. But it's impossible for him to be done by Friday, looking at the condition of the situation that we have in place. Our people would have to move in the furniture, set up the classrooms, and there's really not enough time between now and Monday to take care of what he has to do and what we have to do. So that's why we're starting in the present location. We'll accommodate the children that are coming in, and then, as I said, we would move over. Okay, but we believe we've taken care of serving all the children in the area.
So it's not to exceed 50,000. Are you taking month by month on this lease or what?
It's just not to exceed 6 months.
Not to
180
exceed.
days.
It may be less than 6 months.
Correct. Whichever comes first.
Yes.
But so you're taking month by month, or you leasing by the square
They're
foot?
allowing us to do the month
And
by
it's by
month.
square foot, yes.
Yes.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
That was for 1 and 2, right?
Right.
Yep.
All right, 18, the right-of-way.
Judge, Commissioners, Joe Perry, the right-of-way department, item 18A, authorization for title report, surveys, meets and bounds, appraisals, and acquisition for property at the San Carlos CRC, or precinct 4.
Move for
So
approval.
moved.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 19, our planning.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, Raul Cine, Planning Administrator. Reimbursement cash deposits. We have 3 requests this morning. Las Estrellas number 1 subdivision. The original amount for the letter of credit, the cash deposit was $39,000. And the septic tanks have been installed partially, and the reimbursement request is for $13,500, which is for the 9 tanks that have been installed and have been certified by the Health Department for the installation. Everything's in order for the release.
Move for approval?
Second.
Ms. Townsend, were you going to comment on that?
Well, what does CWL stand for?
I don't know.
Okay.
What was the question?
It's a limited corporation, so it's a partnership. Yeah.
Are all 3 of these out of the floodplain or in?
They should be out of the floodplain. I believe that subdivision, I don't think they're in the flood.
They're not in the floodplain?
No, they're actually extending storm sewer to it, the subdivision.
They're actually what?
They're out of the floodplain. She's asking if it's in a flood zone or not.
All right.
If I recall correctly, I don't believe they're in the flood zone. They're up on mile 5 in Minnesota, which is a high area of precinct 3.
Yeah, I've seen that development.
Yes, sir, that's a high area, actually.
It's the one on the north side, right? The new one
Yes, sir,
going up?
the new ones are going up. Mile 5 in Minnesota, that's correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thanks.
All right, sir.
We did have a call in the office. It was an anonymous call regarding there was a concern on this particular area actually being a flood-prone area. I'm not sure that it's in the flood zone, but apparently there's a possibility that there's pockets of this particular subdivision that would be prone to have flooding.
Now, if it's the one I'm talking about, it's right north, it's that field that used to be farmed. And
Comes right off of,
right off 5 Mile Line on the north side, it's pretty level. I've seen worse.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it is. It's a high, and actually they're extending some storm sewer in that area too, the development through the phases that they're doing.
All right, so we're taking them one at a time then?
Well, if you like, Judge, I can go ahead and handle the next two, which would be Las Estrellas Phase 2 and Las Estrellas Phase 3. Las Estrellas Phase 2, they're requesting a drawdown of $4,500 with the original letter, cash deposit of $9,000, leaving a balance of $4,500. And then Phase 3 is original cash deposit of $69,000 with a drawdown of $27,000, a balance of $42,000. And everything's in order. They have been installed and inspected by the health department.
There, we move for approval on 19A, 1A, B, and C.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Item 20, Precinct 2.
Morning, Judge. Commissioner
Morning.
Raul Silguero representing Commissioner Tito Palacios, Precinct 2. This is an item to accept some reimbursement from the city of Alamo for a project that they participated in. This is approval certification of revenues for revenues as certified by the county auditor for El Gato Road. And number 2 is approval of the appropriation of funds into Precinct 2 in the amount of $221,700.
Move for approval
1 and 2.
on 1 and 2, yes, sir.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 21, Precinct 3.
The wingman.
Good morning, Mr. Varela.
Commissioners, I'm going to let Karina from Public Affairs present 21A.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, once again. This item reads, discussion and approval of a resolution of the Commissioners Court, Hidalgo County, Texas, consenting to legislation authorizing the Hidalgo County Water Control and Improvement District Number 19 to undertake roadway improvement projects. There's a resolution, it's pretty lengthy. I don't know if you would like me to read it or just give a little brief synopsis.
A synopsis would be good. Just tell us generally what it
It's
is.
basically just supporting the water district's efforts to propose legislation so that they can do roadway improvements for drainage. And they're not authorized to do so, so it has to be statutorily authorized. The City of Mission has already signed a similar resolution, so this
Is there any problem with that, Steve? Have you looked at it?
I have looked at it, and basically it's just, they're going to ask the legislature to give them the
Okay,
authority
just
to
permission.
do
Move for
that.
approval?
Second.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Judge, I have a representative from the district. You want me to-
Yes, if you want to introduce him. Good morning, sir.
Pretty much
Good morning,
fine.
Judge, Commissioners. Thank you for support of this resolution this morning. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them for you.
Your name, please, for the record.
Paul Curtin. I'm the Vice President of Hunt Development. We're the owners of Sherryland Plantation, under which the District 19 falls within our boundaries there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
We go to item B, Precinct 3 sanitation. Number 1, approval of the following personnel actions. Delete slot 0019 and delete slot 0026, the 28,000, slot 19,
No.
and 26, $24,880.
Take them out at one time.
Okay, and then create slot 0042, 28,000, and create slot 0043, 28,000.
Move to approve. Second.
That includes the revised salary.
Yes,
schedule.
approval of revised salary, Judge. I'm
Items
sorry.
1 and 2.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Item 22.
Martha Salazar for the Purchasing Department. Nothing to report or action to be taken on 22-1A, 1-B, 1, 2, and 3, C, 1, 2, and 3, respectively. We've already taken care of item 4, which was no action. Item 5 is presentation and approval of a request by contracted vendor Robertson Auto Auction for approval to add to auctioneer's website the Hidalgo County emblem and seal. As you can tell by the backup, they have other emblems and seals like the federal government. It's just to represent the political subdivisions that they do work for, that they're contracted to do work for.
And what item are you talking about, Mark?
5,
You need action on that?
No, actually.
yes.
No.
Move for approval?
There was no action on 4 before.
Second.
All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye, motion carries.
Acceptance and approval of work
Hold on,
authorization.
Marty. Mr. Barnes, I'm not sure which item you were wanting to speak on. It looks here that you listed 22, and it looks like a B and a 1, and I skipped over it. Do you still want to speak on it?
B1 isn't up yet, Judge, if it's B1.
I got handed a form that was signed by yourself wanting to speak on item 22B1, and I didn't want to bypass you.
No, you're 2 items away.
Okay, then I'm sorry. We're almost there.
All right, on item 5, did we have action on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Item 6 was acceptance and approval of work
Yeah.
authorization 5 with an estimated cost of $10,000 as submitted by R. Gutierrez Engineering for Minnesota Drainage Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 7 is approval of the following departments as posted here in the agenda to use the state awarded contract vendor U.S. Bank National as our fuel card provider.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
8, acceptance and approval of work authorization 4 with an estimated cost of $8,900 as submitted by R. Gutierrez Engineering for border road improvements project.
To approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B1 is requesting approval and authorization to purchase 2 new modular buildings through Hidalgo County's membership and participation with the TASB by Board's Cooperative Purchasing Program. Awarded vendor Ramtech Building Systems. This is the project through their awarded contract number 335. We have option 1, 2, and 3, and option 4. This is yours to decide. I think Mr. Guerra is proposing 4. Is that
Mr.
correct?
Guerra.
Marty, what
I
are we
think the ju-
looking at? 2 of them?
There's 2.
The judge wanted 1, right, Judge? I mean, you don't want to move to another building?
I think we need to be close to the courthouse. I don't want to be located somewhere, miles
No.
away.
Well, but you're not included in these.
But
So
Trump,
how long would it take to put it back on the agenda for another one?
A
'Cause
week.
We're going to need another one.
A week.
Bring it back then.
Mr. Guerra is
Don't
going to
forget on
be,
that one. He's going to want one next to the shaded lawn or where at? Make him walk.
Actually, Commissioners, Judge Marty, I have been working with Mrs. Chapa on the housing of the county judge's office.
All right, we'll
So,
get
Well,
one.
you need to tell us then, Valde.
see, yeah.
Okay.
Who reviewed the specifications to these?
with the company itself, they come in.
No,
They
but
gave it-
from our staff, who reviewed it? Anybody from facilities or as far as the products used?
Mr. Sunday has been.
You did?
Yes.
Completely?
Mr. Garza met with Mr. Sunday to tell him, and if you'll see on the backup, we also have given you all of the renderings and,
I know we have time constraints, but has anybody actually made a comparison as far as these portable buildings versus a job order contractor to actually build on site this type of building?
Yeah, but we don't have the
I
time.
believe.
I know- I know we don't have
believe
the time, I'm just
The time
wondering.
is the issue, Commissioner. Yes, a job order contractor can do, some of them can do new construction. Now, remember, job order contractors are very limited. They can add, they
Yeah.
can renovate, but they cannot do new construction. I think there's maybe just one, but it's under a different type of index that we would use. But your time limit is,
I
your
understand.
time constraint right now is the prevailing issue.
So what
Yes, sir.
option are you looking at here, Valde?
With respect to the options, we're looking at the one that, I believe that there, it's 4, right?
Item
We
4.
met with the city, so we could comply with
No, we don't have
the
tres.
city's codes.
With the 3 modular rooms or
We have tres.
So actually, you're suggesting that it's a nicer facility, so just.
Yes,
a total of 892,447?
892,447, yes.
Okay,
I
move for
don't
approval.
wait.
Second.
How many buildings are we buying?
There's 2 that accommodate 5 courts.
Okay.
3 courts in one, 2 in another.
And we're paying 700, depending on the option we take.
Yes, we're paying,
It says here
Option
2
4.
and 3, it's a total of 5 rooms, what it says here on option 4.
it's a total of 5 courtrooms,
Yeah.
yes. But it's 2 buildings.
Yeah.
Okay.
And each,
We could
each-
not, they could not construct one.
and
That
each,
would be one
each building is how many square feet, Marty? Just for
These
the record.
buildings, I believe,
It's a total
Commissioner,
of about 12,000 square feet, is what I'm looking at?
Yes.
52 and
Little
79.
over 2,000.
It's a little, just slightly over 13,000
1,000
square
square
feet.
feet, yes.
When you combine both.
So we're looking at 6,500 square feet per building, costing us approximately $430-some-odd-thousand per building.
892,
Right, for both, though.
yeah,
Yes, for both. Now, that does not include the next item, which is the site work.
yeah.
So that doesn't
Let's
include
let-
any sanitary sewer, water connections, nothing?
Yes, yes.
Is this the one you want to speak on, Mr. Barnes?
Is it this one? This is the one you wanted to speak on?
I think this is a good idea. You're getting courtrooms that are in administration building, got to be moved out. You're getting things out of the Medplex building. My concern is, how long are we going to have this there? Do you have any idea yet?
He said July 9th to 13th. How long will it take you to finish the administration building, Marty?
For, yes, July 13th of next year.
So it'll be almost a year.
For over a year, okay?
No, but that's only for the county
The
judge.
courtrooms aren't accommodated at the administration building. Those courtrooms are going to be there until, the county renovates the courthouse when
Well,
the DA.
it's
Are we building a new
it's
building?
not temporary. It's for quite a few years.
They'll be
Yes.
paid for, it'll be, but with just
Because-
saving the rent, we'll pay for it.
Yes.
And then we'll
And
be able
remember, we're
to have an
taking
asset to
another-
do something with it.
We're going to also end another lease,
Yes,
which is off
an
next to your
expensive
office,
lease.
Judge, for Israel Ramon's court
Yeah.
will also be moved. So those lease payments, which are quite hefty, will also be reduced.
So this is for a number of years. This is for quite a number of years. So where are the judges? That's where they park now. That's where you're going to put these buildings. Where are they going to park? And it looks like to me, bringing those other courtrooms in there, we're going to have a parking issue on the northeast corner of Courthouse Square. So they're going to have to walk across a couple of streets or somewhere. So that could be an issue, particularly if it's going to be 2 or 3 years.
Well, we have
We might
that.
need to look at some way to get traffic around there and have crosswalks.
Well,
Yes.
right now, the parking lot, the courthouse parking lot is made up of also the public using the courthouse. So at this point, in the very near future, the court's going to have to decide the relocation maybe only of those elected officials and staff for the remaining spaces left.
You're talking the southwest corner.
The southwest corner,
Yeah.
the L.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? So that's going to be an issue that's going to have to be addressed.
All right.
And the parking lot across McIntyre from the courthouse is already full every day.
Yes, sir.
Well, only that small area, but we've got a block and a half.
You also have Robert Chevrolet parking lot.
And people might have to walk a little bit, but
But, Judge, if
Yeah,
you'll
we could do
recall,
that.
when we've given a report before, there isn't a political subdivision in the state of Texas that doesn't have the same issue about
Yeah.
parking. There are, and some employees in some larger counties have to pay for parking, and they're several blocks away.
all we're going to be asking is
We've
that
never
they walk
asked
a little
anyone
bit more.
to pay for their parking.
Judge,
So
there's a
we're not
motion.
going to get there? We're not, you don't think we'll have to do that? They'll still have free parking?
Oh, yes, oh,
Okay.
yes, no.
Worst
we're
case
not-
scenario,
that's
we
not
can
being
shuttle
considered.
those
I'm just
people back.
comparing it
Yeah.
to other subdivisions.
Anything else, sir?
Yes. After we renovated the courthouse or build a new one or whatever, what are we going to use these buildings for?
Those portable buildings can be used for whatever issues we have in the future.
The way our county's growing, there will be a
There
need
will be a need.
somewhere in the future.
Either for
Well, I'm
Head
sure
Start-
of
either for Head
that.
Start or
We
Road and
seem to
Bridge.
keep growing.
Right.
Well, that's just the way our population is multiplying.
I was reminding Commissioner Quintanilla, at Precinct 1, you've got portable buildings at the CRC because it doesn't accommodate all of those outreach
Right.
organizations that you need. There's going to be.
There's plenty of use for the
They will
portable
not be
buildings.
started.
Okay.
All right, next item.
Marty,
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you, Mr. Barnes.
have you covered the concern that we have, the funding and the purchases of the buildings from the third water
Funding will be
vendor?
addressed here by Mr. Cruz. As far as the issues, I believe that the documentation provided to you addresses it in 2 ways. First of all, under performance and quantities. I think that the semantics is quantities, but if you look at it still means, what we're doing here is actually going in, taking a modular and actually doing a change order to accommodate all these changes that we need because they were office. They were initially sold as office. So a change order started coming in the front end, which by law, under construction, is permitted up to 25%. So even, I believe buy boards.
Well, I think we need to get that clear through the buy board. We read the documentation you provided, and I still have a concern on whether or not.
This is
Well,
what,
there's
this is,
compliance
this
We're
is
gonna
the
be
concern.
fighting about this, we're not gonna have a place to house this people.
This is the concern, Commissioner. It's very short here.
But the biggest issue is the funding.
Okay, well, then let me have him
The
address
purchase
that.
of this building is going to be from a CO?
Correct,
issuance?
it'll be from the CL. So Court has opted not to purchase the Metaplex facility.
No.
We have funding identified within that account. I'll be working with your office to either retitle that account to this modular buildings or actually transfer those funds from that account to a new account, depending on how your office wants to proceed as far as creating a new account, just using the existing account that we have available.
Yeah, but I don't think the issue is the accounts are here. The issue is, does the issuance allow for the use of proceeds?
Yes,
from this
it does.
purchase?
I've forwarded this information to our bond counsel. Bond counsel has agreed that this does fit the purpose within Purpose 8 and Purpose 9 and 10, all address facilities for the counties, and he feels that it is allowable within the use of the COs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, but you already done that, then.
Yes,
then we're
I've
clear.
contacted bond counsel.
But the purchasing issue is still pending, so we need to get the state awarded vendor to, or the co-op.
But Mr. Eufrasio, the TASB buy board would still be subject to the 262 under construction change orders. That law applies to them as well as it does to us. We cannot, modify anything more than 25%. This is about 18%. So just on that alone,
Yeah, but I would
it
like.
qualifies.
In order for be satisfied, Marty, I would like to get approval from the state awarded vendor.
Oh, I just handed Mr. Crane their
Is this from
response.
TASB?
That's the contract.
Oh, well,
Did
the
you
contract
meet-
says it can be increased up to 25%.
Right.
Marty before?
And he's
Yeah,
using the word
well,
quantities.
he provided
And he thinks
documentation.
that's for an
And
item.
it's
Well, the
definition.
modular is an item.
All right.
It's his interpretation of the word quantity.
Right.
Is that correct, Mr.?
Well, again, I would like to get the result before there's a purchase.
But they've given you the answer. That we provided to you. It's under the contract.
Yeah, we read
Judge,
it.
do you have a motion?
We read it and still had concern.
You need to
Pardon
work
me?
it out because we got to buy these
Yeah,
things.
let's work it out before we make a purchase. That way there's no question later on.
Well, we got a motion
I
and
think
a
I
second.
think the language is very clear
All right.
in the TASB contract.
We've got a motion and a second. Make sure that you address all these different concerns.
Judge, I beg to differ.
And you may have already addressed them. I'm not saying
We've
you haven't.
addressed it. But I don't want anything to stop us from proceeding, and we're already
I
being
believe
told
we're
there
about
may
to
be an
vote on
issue.
it. That's giving you authorization to purchase. with
All
the-
right, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, I'm sorry, Marty, before you get to the requesting authorization on that next item, Judge, Commissioners, there is some paperwork with respect that needs to be filed with the City of Edinburgh. It does require some signatures. I don't want to lose any time with respect to what we're trying to do here.
All
because
right,
we
so
have a
let's
short-
go ahead and make a motion
Could-
authorizing me to go ahead and sign whatever is
And then
necessary.
I can bring those
with the
documents
city of
next
Edinburgh.
week.
We have them here.
Yes. And then I can bring them next week and just make them a part of the record, but it is part of this overall, for the modular, Steve.
Do you need a motion and a second?
I
at
can
this
use
time?
a motion that authorizes the county judge to sign any and all documents relating to the construction of these modular buildings, including approvals from the city of Edinburgh
For compliance
for
thereof.
compliance.
So we should rescind the motion then? Is that what you're saying?
We need a motion to that effect.
So move.
And a second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item B is requesting authorization to solicit requests for proposals from awarded job order contractors, also through our participation with cooperative purchasing programs or associations for the installation of electrical, plumbing, furnishings, and any other appurtenances for the courtrooms to be located, as we know, on the corner of 10th and McIntyre.
Who's putting the specifications together for this?
For this, Mr. Garza is working with
The attachments that were provided to you, Commissioner, I took it to Joanne, I don't know if you got a chance to review it, but in respects for the sake of understanding, a mobile home would be more of a residential type as opposed to a modular.
Right.
It has all the specifications for commercial grade. And it already has all the data drops and all the conduits and everything ready prepared
And
as we would in construction.
But the
Oscar, you're
actual,
working with Mr. Sunday or Danny or somebody in construction?
Yes, sir.
All right.
but I'm talking about the actual sewer lines that are going to be run, you know,
We
water lines.
First of all, we did an AutoCAD layout of the premises, so this is why we could only place 2 modulars. We have visited the site, and we know where the water lines and the sewer lines pertain. We have visited with the city of Edinburgh, so we're ready to go. We just need approval for job order contractors to come in place so we can be able to hook them up.
And because this
The
is
only
not,
reason I bring it up, Mr. Garcia, is because, you know, when you're running this type of sewer lines, electric lines, whatever, for example, sewer lines, so many feet, you've got to drop quarter inch per foot, half inch per
Yes,
foot,
sir.
whatever it is. Just to specify that these job order contractors follow something, is that way we ever have problems, you initiate a warranty issue or some type of, you know, go back
Right, well,
and get them to correct the issue.
obligation for the, for Ramtech buildings is just to deliver, they're gonna set up, and then it is our responsibility to do all the hookups,
Okay.
the electrical and plumbing hookups.
So we'll be doing that in-house, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we will be doing it through a job order contracting.
All right, thanks.
Need a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Precinct 1?
yes, okay. Under Precinct 1, this is acceptance and approval of a clarification of revised attachment 1 schedule of fees. And this is for the engineering services to Mile 17 North Roadway Rehabilitation and Widening Project.
Move to approve.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is acceptance and approval of a request by LNG Engineering Laboratories, no, yes, that's right, of the reduction of the original amount of $25,365.96 as stated on Part 2 estimated cost of the replacement of work authorization 1 to the new amount of $17,123.49 due to change of scope of services in connection with Mile 17 North Roadway Rehabilitation and Widening.
Move to approve, Judge.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
This is for Precinct 2 pursuant to 263-152, requesting, A3, requesting Commissioners Court to order the property otherwise disposed inasmuch as the county undertook to sell property under 263-152A-L or 1, sealed competitive bids, and this is for fill dirt and loose materials from Precinct 1 Drainage Improvement Project between Minnesota and Owasso Roads.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is A, is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under 262-024A4, a professional service.
So,
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is presentation of scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of the firms graded and evaluated. This is for geotechnical and/or material testing services on an as-needed basis. And this is, the 3 were RABA at 99, PSI 93, Terracon at 91. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
so moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 3, authority for the purchasing department to negotiate a professional services agreement with the number 1 ranked firm
Move to approve.
of RABA Kistner.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We're requesting authority to advertise and approve a procurement packet as attached here 2 for Precinct 2's purchase of box culverts for Minnesota Drain
Move
Project.
to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
E1, Precinct 4, requesting approval of an on-call professional engineering services agreement with Those Logistics for road and bridge, CIP, and other projects.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Appointment and designation by Commissioners Court of an Evaluation Committee as recommended by Precinct 4 to grade and score the request for competitive sealed proposals received for Hidalgo County Precinct 4's construction of new multipurpose facility. and mechanical shop. I think on your backup, you do have the roster of who Precinct 4 is recommending, and we're asking for that approval.
You want to read it for the record, Marty?
Just a moment. I'm going to add this. Give me a second. I believe it was Mr. Commissioner, I can't find my backup. Just give me a second. Here it is. I'm looking at the wrong. I'm so sorry. Here it is. Yes. Ray Salazar, Department of Budget and Management. Sergio Cruz from Department of Budget and Management. Raul Cecin from Planning. Alex Palacios from Prodigy. Letty Sines from Purchasing. Moises Salazar from Purchasing. And David Iglesias from ERO.
Move to approve.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, going to the next item.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm just getting back to my agenda here. The other one was appointment, okay, I'm sorry, we already did that. The constable's recommendation to formally reject all bids received for parking lot and off-site drainage improvements, which we had done by taking no action, but this is formally, inasmuch as no action was taken on July 10th. And that was for the Constable Precinct 1 construction.
Who is dissecting the project at this point, as far as for curb and gutter and stuff like that? The county doesn't do curb and gutter. We do everything else.
I believe we were going to be talking to your engineer on that.
I just want to make sure we start moving forward
Yes, sir.
with it. not-
And I'll make sure
not
when I get
delay
back to
this
the
project.
office, to send you an email to that effect.
Okay, move to approve.
Either. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
IT Department, G1, acceptance of the scoring and evaluation grid for the purposes to declare the sole proposal received as qualified for, and that's AL3 Enterprises, DBA Star Telecom, so as to proceed with the next phase of procurement process, and that is authority to negotiate. So I need action on 1
Move to approve.
and 2.
Items 1, 2, maybe.
I mean, it's 1, A, and
A,
B.
B.
Sorry,
Right.
to clarify.
There a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
H1, presentation for discussion of a request for payment, recording and utility easement for the Sheriff's Office substation of $60 to Hidalgo County Clerk's Office with authority for the County Treasurer to issue the check after processing. Procedures are completed by the County Auditor.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Badillo, did anybody sign up for open forum? All right, this time we'll proceed to executive session pursuant to 551-071 and 072. Need a motion?
So moved.
And second, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll be in executive session for a while. Session. Item 25A.
Yes, Commissioner Judge, on the real estate acquisition, I'd like to request authorization from the court to have the county auditor approve the county treasurer to issue a manual check in the amount of $31,540 to the law office of Lineberger, Logan, Blair, and Sampson LLP before 2:30 p.m. today for the acquisition of 4.33 acres from a tax sale.
I don't believe we can direct them to do it, but we can certainly, well, we can direct the treasurer and subject to the auditor's approval, because we don't have authority to direct them.
Where is the auditor?
But I don't know where the gentleman is. Did he
Still here.
Mr. Ofracio leave?
he hadn't been here for a while.
Okay. We have a motion to direct that the check be cut to pay, how much is the amount, sir?
$31,540. And this has to be done before 2:30, so that we don't lose.
No, it's a bargain for the county. The appraised value is over 100,000 and,
The appraised value is $151,000.
all right. All right, those in favor of the motion is made and seconded indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Follow it up and see if you can make contact with Mr. Ofracio and tell him what we did.
Take him out to lunch or
Well,
something.
he's still here. There he comes.
Oh, here he is. Mr. Ofracio, come on in. We just took some action. We didn't see you here, but we purchased some property at an auction. The appraised value is $151,000 approximately. We bought it for $31,000, but we gotta pay it today before 2:30 or 3, so we gotta cut a check manually. And we wanted to make sure you looked at it and make sure you were satisfied.
Do we have all the documentation, everything's ready to go?
The what?
Documentation.
We have all the documentation that we need in order to process payment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, we need you
I've got the information.
we need you to skip through lunch and just get it done, if you would.
Take a late.
Well, the thing is, if I don't have the documentation that I need, I won't be able to issue a check.
got
But
it
if
when
everything's in order, you know, I don't
We
see
have
it.
approved-
I don't see a
we
problem.
approved it last week, no?
Under contract of sale, so, I'll, yeah.
It was a sale that took place.
We'll get together and I'll provide you with everything from my-
We'd appreciate your looking at it in order to be able to meet the deadline of 2:30.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, to give them a check with a savings of over 120,000.
Okay.
Actually, we're gonna get it for free once State goes in there and buys it.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
that's true.
Monday?
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Work closely with Mr. Ofracio and the treasurer. All right. Valde? Oh, before you do that, I wanted to make sure that we provide an opportunity for Mrs. Ramirez.
Judge, are we going back to open forum?
Yes. I went ahead and I bypassed the open forum issue, and I'd like to go back to it. And that's item number 23.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Pues no sé ni cómo comenzar. Estoy hablando español porque no sé inglés.
Quería dirigirle a usted, Jaime,
You're
you're
gonna have
at,
to translate. A sentence at a time.
Sí.
bueno, antes de que empiece, nos avisan que tiene usted un licenciado que ocupó un abogado. ¿Es correcto?
Sí.
El señor Aarón Peña.
Aaron Peña.
¿Y él sabe que está aquí?
No, porque me retiró mi caso, me entregó los papeles y me dijo que ya no me iba a representar.
Ah, muy
Por
bien.
eso no acudí a él.
Está bien, entonces, sígale entonces.
Pues yo metí una aplicación en el condado en el 99, en el 2002, perdón, en el 2000, y me cedieron el permiso. Luego metí una aplicación en el 2005 para hacer un local, y luego me cedieron la aplicación y me la aceptaron en el 2005.
Espérese un momento. Jaime, you're going to forget.
What she's saying, Judge, is that in the year 2000, she submitted an application, a permit to the planning department for said businesses, and she was granted the permit, and then in 2005, she was granted the permit as well for a different business.
Luego después metí una aplicación en el 2008 y también me la cedieron.
Also, in 2008, she was granted a permit as well.
And the permit was for what?
Para otro local.
Para
otro.
For another commercial establishment. She's got, ¿cuántos?
Son 3 locales.
She's got 3 locations.
And they were all approved?
Todos eran aprobados.
Sí.
Is that correct, Mr.
Tengo los
President?
permisos.
Well, it may make more sense if you answer the
Well, we're in
question.
open forum. We're in open forum, Judge.
And as I mentioned, after the division, everything is going to hold.
Oh, we can't, that's right.
Okay.
Después, pues ya me metí una en el 2009 y ya no me fue aprobada. Es otro local que está ahí nomás para techarse. Y me dijeron, ya fue cuando empezaron a negarme los permisos.
In 2009, she requested permission to put a roof on one of the establishments, and that's when they started to deny her permit.
Mi razón que yo puse es porque ella quería formar lo que era la placita y ponerle a cada local la numeración, pero como me fue negada no pude hacerlo.
She was trying to go ahead and establish what is the little shopping strip, and she was trying to attach addresses or numbers to each of the particular establishments, and that's when the permits were being denied.
La razón que me la negaron fue porque querían que yo pavimentara una calle que es atrás. Mi pregunta fue, ¿por qué me estaban viendo que yo pavimentara la parte de atrás si estaba mi negocio enfrente?
The reason they gave her for denying the permit was they wanted her to pave, apparently the planning department, Departamento de Planificación, the planning department wanted her to pave the area that's the road alongside the back of the property.
Me insistió que yo tenía que pavimentar. Hice una junta con el señor Salinas antes de que se fuera, antes de que usted estuviera, García. Hicimos una junta y el señor Salinas le dijo al señor Raúl Sisi que me hiciera el favor de ayudarme, a ver en qué me podía ayudar. Y me propusieron que el condado pusiera, para poderse pavimentar la calle, que el condado pusiera el 50% y yo y mi hermana el 50%.
Because they were denying her the permit, previous county judge, J.D. Salinas, convened a meeting whereby he asked that Raul Cecin do everything he could to assist. She mentioned that even there was a kind of an understanding that the county, or he thought that there was some way that the county could pay for 50% and allow her and her sister to split the other 50% of the cost of payment.
Pero como mi hermana son 20 pies, porque son 5 acres, mi hermana tiene 20 pies que estaba dando ella para la calle y yo 20 pies, pero mi hermana no aceptó la propuesta que me pusieron.
Her sister, since there's 5 acres, the amount that she needed to dedicate, her sister needed to dedicate for easement for the road was 20 feet in order to establish that road. And Mrs. Ramirez would also give the other 20 feet to establish the 40-foot road. However, her sister was not in agreement with that and didn't do that.
Y como ella no lo aceptó, entonces pues no se pudo hacer nada. Hablé con el señor Raúl Sisi y le dije que no se podía hacer nada, ¿verdad? Porque mi hermanita no estaba de acuerdo. Ella es dueña de 5 acres y yo también. Entonces, en ese tiempo, cuando el señor Raúl Sisi me volvió a insistir que yo no podía hacer nada ahí hasta que yo pavimentara, él me dijo que mientras que él estuviera sentado ahí, yo no podía hacer nada. Yo me puse muy nerviosa, me fui al hospital y hice un error. Ahorita se los explico.
Mr. Cecin then denied, just basically she said was that given the fact that her sister couldn't give the 20 feet or wouldn't give the other 20 feet to build that road, then she was at a loss and couldn't move forward on the permit. She went in to talk to Mr. Cecin, and Mr. Cecin said that while he was the planning administrator, while he was in office, that she would never be able to develop that property without doing this work.
Después de que yo salí del hospital, pues yo salí muy nerviosa, estaba muy alterada, por eso fui a dar al hospital porque yo me subió mucho la presión. Ahorita todavía la traigo porque estoy un poquito nerviosa. Entonces llegó el señor Salazar y me propuso que él me compraba 3 acres y eso fue el error que yo cometí. Le estaba tratando de vender 3 acres al señor Salazar. Vino el abogado de él y me dijo que sí podía yo vender, pero no podía vender yo, tenía que dividir.
Señora, la ley le permite 5 minutos.
Ay, disculpe.
Pero sígale porque están traduciéndole, se entretiene un poco más, pero sí. Sígale.
Given the fact after everything that happened, she wound up in the hospital with high blood pressure, and she was very nervous about the situation. She spent several days in the hospital. When she came out of the hospital, she was approached by Mr. Salazar, a neighbor, to purchase part of the property. He and his attorney asked about purchasing 3 acres of the property, and that's where she sold the property illegally.
Y cometí ese error de que porque me dijo el abogado que sí podía vender, después me dijeron que no podía haber vendido, que tenía que dividir.
She sold the property not knowing, under the advice of that particular lawyer, and then she realized that it was a mistake and that she was not able to sell that property lawfully.
All right.
Después hablé con el señor Raúl Sisi y hubo fue un investigador y fue el que me dijo a mí que yo había cometido que había faltado a la ley.
Está bien. Gracias, señora. Oh, finish. Go ahead and finish.
She visited with an investigator. The investigator told her that she indeed had that the partition was illegal, and that's when she realized that she had made a mistake on the property.
Okay.
De ahí empezó el señor Raúl Sisi que ya no me iba a dar los permisos, que porque yo había violado la ley, y de ahí empezó otro proceso diferente al que estaba primero, porque quería que yo pavimentara.
That's where all of the problems began. That she visited with Mr. Cecina again, and she was denied the permit because the property hadn't been divided.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. Gracias. Can we hear from Raul? Steve, I'm not sure if it'd be proper, but
I don't think that would be a good idea, Judge.
You guys don't
He
need
didn't
to
sign
sign
up.
all this stuff.
Would you like a response, Judge?
we're not able to. I think you may need to.
It was not,
I want you to do something in writing that I can give. That I want to send the lady a letter laying everything out.
Prepare all the history and details and information. We're more than happy.
Jaime, just tell her what we're going to do.
Judge, if I may?
Yes.
Item 25B, no action, pending or potential. Item 25C, Judge Commissioners, I'd like authority to make a settlement offer on the claim of Pedro Hernandez in the amount of $647.48. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm asking the court to entertain action in settlement of the claim of Pedro Hernandez in the amount of $647.48.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the claim of Maria D. Trejo as well, I'm asking the court to consider in settlement of this claim, $300.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the claim of Marta L. Flores, I'm asking the court to consider in settlement of this claim a dollar amount of $4,050. If the court does entertain that, I would ask that be split up into two separate payments.
Move for approval.
Okay, the two payments?
One payment, we take care of it.
The two payments that'll equal $4,050 would be Marta L.
Yeah.
Flores, $2,800, and Joanne L. Rangel, $1,250.
Second that.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F, claim of AT&T. Judge Commissioners, I'd ask the court to entertain settlement of this claim in the amount of $1,433.96.
Move for approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item 25G, C 2219-12-G, Lorena Narvaez versus Juan A. Herbert Glenn, JP Luis Garza, and Constable Lazaro Gallardo Jr. Judge Commissioners, just for the record, I want to disclose that we're assigning this to Josie Ramirez to facilitate on behalf of the county.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.